know. So for those of you who don't know me, good evening. Hi, Sharon. My name is Hally Brooke. I'm the owner and founder of Live Nourish Coaching. We have an amazing team here of functional medicine health coaches and incredible admin. Anna is our client success specialist who is here on the call. And our mission is to help people heal, because we believe that healed people heal people, and that means physically, mentally, emotionally, etc. So these workshops are designed for our members and for the public to come. It's an interactive model, so I encourage you guys, if you feel comfortable, to turn your camera on throughout this whole workshop. Feel free to unmute, interrupt me, ask me questions, post comments in the chat. We'll be monitoring that. I would love to get to know you. And this is going to be a workshop style thing. So we're going to do a little bit of talking about, why a nighttime routine is important, what it does for your body, what sleep does for your body, etc. We'll get a little bit of knowledge. And then we are going to do a workshop to help you guys actually create a nighttime routine that works for you. But we're not just going to leave you there. We are going to start our nighttime routine, obviously at 7 p.m. I know we have a couple people on the East Coast, so this is perfect for you guys. It's like 9. And that's kind of how we're going to roll. So a little bit of information, a little bit of kind of workshop, ask questions, build your nighttime routine out. And then we're going to transition into actually enjoying your nighttime routine and kind of kicking that off that way. So again, please feel free to unmute, interrupt me, ask me questions, whatever you want. I also want to encourage you, if you are one of our members and you have your red lens glasses, I want you to encourage you to put those bad boys on. Why? Because if we're doing an evening routine, I want you to block that blue light. So I'm going to be reading my document and I can't do that with those on, but if you have yours, go ahead and put yours on. If you don't have yours, we'll send you a link to order them. I think they're the coolest thing, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. And if you don't have them, I just encourage you to dim your screen a little bit. Up at the top hand corner, dim it out. If you have a Mac or something that has night shift on it, go ahead and turn night shift on so that your screen gets a little bit more orange and blocks some of those nighttime rays. And with that, we are going to go ahead and kick this off. Yay. Hi, Nina. All right. So how to sleep well. This is something that I think a lot of us know, right? A lot of us know that we should have a nighttime routine, or that it's good to have a nighttime routine. A lot of us know, drinking coffee too late can mess up our nighttime routine. But the thing is, knowledge doesn't really always translate into action. And so I want to give you guys some really solid tools to help you understand why sleep is so important, how to protect it, how to prioritize it, and how to perfect it. I'm going to talk a lot about my nighttime routine. That doesn't mean that I think you should copy my nighttime routine. It just means that I have worked really hard to get a nighttime routine, and I think there's some pieces that you can learn. So we talk about, our experience, strength, and hope. And what I have figured out a nighttime routine that works for me. So please feel free to grab whatever of mine works for you. So we're going to start with an overview. We're going to talk about why sleep is important. We're going to build a nighttime routine. We're going to talk about your morning routine, where that actually is really important for sleep. We're going to talk through some resources, and then we're actually going to build your own evening routine. So if you have a piece of paper or a journal near you, I encourage you to grab that, because we'll need it here in just a minute. And then again, we're going to actually practice some parts of our nighttime routine. So how to sleep well. These are the things that we probably all have heard, and we're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive on why these things are so important. So creating a bedtime routine. The reason this is so important, I think probably all of us at some point have had the experience of, we're running through our day, we're going a million miles an hour, and all of a sudden it's 10 or 11 at night and we just brush our teeth and crash. And then sometimes we actually crash, right? We actually fall asleep, and that's great. But more often than not, when we're running 1,000 miles a minute into our bedtime routine, we're exhausted, but then we get in our bed and we do this. Right? And we stare at the ceiling wide awake, even though we're exhausted. We can't shut our brains off. And it's another hour to 2 hours before we can actually fall asleep. And so that just contributes to this exhaustion. It contributes to running even harder the next day. So creating that bedtime routine, whether it's a 5-minute routine or a 2-hour routine, just gives your body and your brain that little bit of a break and a little bit of a pause to go, okay, it's time for sleep, and I can start winding down. So creating a bedtime routine is one of the most important things that you can do to sleep well. Limiting screen time before bed. We've probably all heard this, but I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive on why that is so important. Blue light, so the blue light that comes from our computer screens, from our TVs, from our cell phones, is a melatonin blocking light. We have a lot of clients who we work with hormones, and a lot of times we think of hormones as only estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. There are so many more hormones, and melatonin is actually one of those hormones. Melatonin is a hormone, which is why if you've had experience with taking melatonin, about 33% of people have great results and fall asleep immediately. About 33% of people have no results, and about 33% of people have weird dreams. It's because it's not just a chemical, it's an actual hormone that affects all your other hormones. And blue light blocks that hormone. So you getting the blue light in your eyes from your TV, from your computer, from your phone is physically preventing your body from creating melatonin, which you have to have in order to fall asleep. If you don't have melatonin, you're not going to sleep. And then melatonin is actually the precursor for serotonin. And serotonin is what we need to, be happy and healthy and centered. And it's what we need to not end up in anxiety and depression. And so when we aren't sleeping well, we're not creating melatonin, which means we're not converting that to serotonin. And then we end up in this whole down the line thing. So a lot of people, have TVs in their room, or we use our phone as our alarm clock. We're going to talk about that. Or, in order to fall asleep, we just kind of mindlessly scroll on Instagram. I had a funny story that popped into my head while I was on a bike ride this afternoon. About a week ago, I was at Natural Grocers checking out, and I'm a nerd, so I always talk to the people at the checkout stand. And, I asked her, how's your day going? She goes, oh, I'm so exhausted. And so I said, something like late night. She goes, yeah, I was up all night playing this power washing game on my phone. And, what came out of my mouth was, oh, that sounds interesting. And what's in my head is, okay, cool. So we're numbing our mind instead of calming our mind, and we're staring at blue light, which is preventing serotonin. So very different internal and external conversations there, but that's what's happening. When we are on our phone, we are physically preventing sleep. And this little phone is, man, so tempting, right? We want to grab that thing and have it with us at all times. And it is the one thing that is probably destroying your sleep. So get that out of your room. Managing stress and anxiety throughout the day. This is a big one. Cortisol is the hormone that our body produces when we're stressed. And an ideal cortisol curve is that your cortisol would be the highest in the morning when you first wake up, then it would start to decrease through the day. Around lunchtime, it would actually come up a little bit. And then from lunchtime down into the evening, it would continue to decrease. What happens when we have a high amount of stress and anxiety throughout our day, whether that's internal stress, messages that we're giving ourselves, or external stress, running the kids around to soccer practice and job and all that, is that changes that cortisol graph. And so if you're someone who has a really hard time waking up in the morning, that probably means instead of your cortisol being high like it needs to be, it's low. Or if you crash in the afternoon, again, that means that instead of your cortisol coming back up after lunch, it's crashing when it shouldn't be. Or if you're getting, if you get tired around 9 and then you get a second wind around 10 or 11, again, that's your cortisol being out of whack. Cortisol, again, is a hormone. And so managing your stress and anxiety throughout the day, taking time to breathe, doing a meditation when you need to, having breaks in between clients or meetings helps you maintain that healthy cortisol curve, which is going to help you sleep and is so, so important. So we're going to talk about a couple strategies here, but my favorite is making sure that I have 10 minutes between tasks. And in that 10 minutes, I'll go put my feet in the grass. I will take a breath. I will do a miniature, 3-minute meditation on my phone. I'll just go walk around my block, something to, if something had been stressful, I can just bring it down and I can keep myself closer to that healthy cortisol curve. Getting regular exercise. This is something that we've probably all experienced in the extremes. If you haven't been exercising and all of a sudden you got a big walk or a long hike or something like that, and you go, oh, I'm going to sleep so well tonight. That's a real thing. You want to be stressing your body. So we just talked about bad stress. There's also eustress or good stress. And in order to get good sleep, you need to be stressing your body every single day in a good way, so that when you get to the time to sleep, you really truly are exhausted. There's a good amount of research now that talks about restless leg syndrome. I don't know if you guys like see commercials for that on TV all the time. Take this drug for restless leg syndrome. It cracks me up. We have about 14 studies now that show that if you exercise during the day, you don't have restless leg syndrome. So you can take a drug, a pharmaceutical, or you can like go for a walk and take some squats and you're going to sleep better. Getting sunshine first thing in the morning. So your sleep at 10, 11 o'clock at night starts at 6 or 7 in the morning when you set your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is the rhythm that your body goes through that wake sleep cycle. We have some really cool studies of people who went and lived in a cave for, like 30 days at a time. They have no access to light. And what we found is that it changes their circadian rhythm. Their body doesn't know when to wake and it doesn't know when to sleep. And so the best thing that we can do to affect our sleep at night is to tell our body when it's day. So for myself, one of the most powerful things that I have found that helps me get really good sleep is the moment I wake up. First of all, I'm not a very good morning person, so I lay in bed and like read a devotional or something because I need a minute. But as soon as my feet hit the floor, I go and I stand outside in the sunshine for 5 minutes. Rain, snow, sleet, shine, like I get outside, and I do that before I brush my teeth. I do that before I wash my face. I do that before I put on clothes. I do that before I eat breakfast, because getting that sunshine in my eyes immediately upon waking sets my body up and goes, okay, it's daytime. And then my clock starts. And as soon as I set that clock, then we start going through that day. I notice a massive difference when I don't do this. When I get up and I do something else first, I like get dressed or I take a shower or something before I get outside. I notice I don't get as sleepy as early, which I think is fascinating. And then the last really important key thing is no caffeine past 12 o'clock. Stop eating past 7 p.m. So this is two things kind of wrapped into one. Caffeine, if you have a healthy functioning metabolism, which means, you process food, losing weight is not an issue for you. Caffeine will metabolize in your system. It has a half-life. Keep that in mind. It has a half-life of 4 to 6 hours. So if you drink coffee at noon, you still have half of that caffeine in your system at 4 p.m. or 6 p.m. Okay. To get all of that caffeine out of your system, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's half-life, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m. is when all of that caffeine is going to be out of your system. And that's if you have a healthy, functioning 20 to 30-year-old metabolism. If you have a slower metabolism, so you struggle to lose weight, maybe you're post-menopausal, your half-life for that caffeine is going to be 6 to 8 hours. So if you're drinking coffee at noon and you have an 8-hour half-life, it's going to be 8 p.m. until half of that caffeine is gone. It's going to be 4 a.m. until all of that caffeine is gone. So if you're wondering why you're having trouble sleeping, get coffee out of your system. No caffeine, I forgot the A, past 12. That's a big deal. A lot of people think like, oh, I can drink a cup of coffee at 5 and it's not going to affect me. First of all, if you can drink a cup of coffee at 5 and it's not going to affect you, there's something off with your adrenal glands, because it should affect you. If you are struggling to sleep and you're drinking coffee past noon, that's a really easy fix. And I have some strategies for you to drink something else. The other piece of that is stop eating at 7 p.m. So back to that circadian rhythm conversation, the microbiome, all of that bacteria and viruses and fungus that makes up the bacteria microbiome set in your large intestine has a circadian rhythm, except that all that bacteria is inside our belly. And so it can't get set by sunlight. It only gets set by what we're eating. And so that bacteria actually gives off chemical responses to help keep our bodies awake. If you've ever, pulled an all-nighter or stayed up super late and you get really hungry or munchy, that's your microbiome going, I either need to sleep or I need some energy. So if it's late at night and you're hungry, the best thing you can do is go to bed because you're not actually hungry. It's your microbiome going, something is wrong. And so the only way that your microbiome, all of that bacteria that makes up your gut, knows that it's bedtime is that it hasn't been fed in a while. It's partly why intermittent fasting can have such powerful effects on some of these things to balance hormones and things like that. And so if you're eating past 7 p.m., if you're eating at 8, 9, 10 p.m., you're giving your microbiome the signal that it's daytime and it's time to create all these chemicals that keep us awake. And that can dramatically affect your sleep. If you stop eating at 7, your microbiome will digest your meal and then realize that nothing else is coming. And so it will go to sleep and it will help release melatonin and serotonin to help you sleep. Fun fact, 95% of our serotonin is created in our gut, and serotonin has to have melatonin to come first. So melatonin is also created in our gut. And the only way those little bugs know that it's bedtime is when we stop feeding them. So those are some really key pieces. Do you guys have any questions on any of that before I move on? That was a lot. Cool. Okay. So the importance of sleep. This is a really ugly slide because there was so much to put on there. So sleep deficiency is defined as anything 6 hours or fewer for 3 to 4 nights in a row. So just think about how many hours of sleep you get. If you are getting 6 hours or fewer for 3 to 4 nights in a row, you are in the category of sleep deprivation. I will put an asterisk on that. There is something called a super sleeper. There's literally a genetic mutation, and I wish I had it. I definitely do not. There are a handful of people, it's about 2% of the population, who sleeps so efficiently that 4 to 6 hours is more than enough for them. And they have 0 symptoms of sleep deprivation. They're not tired, they're not grouchy, they're not hangry. So if you are one of those people, you probably know it. But most of us, if we get less than 6 hours of sleep a night, we're in trouble. So sleep deficiency is linked to every chronic health problem we know of: heart disease, kidney disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, obesity, and depression. Your body is only able to heal while you're sleeping. So if you have a cut or you're sick, there's a reason that when you're sick, when you have the flu, you just want to sleep, because your body is trying so hard to heal. And the only way that it can heal is when you're asleep. When you're awake, your body's making sure that you stay alive, right? It's making sure that you are doing all the things to keep your body alive. Our bodies are designed to keep us alive. It's only when we sleep that our body is able to take all of those energy, microbiome, mitochondria pathways and redirect them to healing. So if you're trying to heal your gut, if you're trying to balance your hormones, if you have a broken arm, if you are sick, you have to sleep, and you have to sleep more. Sleeping is when your body does the majority of its detoxifying as well. It's partly why when you wake up in the morning, you usually have to pee, regardless of how much water you drink the night before. Your body is going through that process of detoxification while you're sleeping. And if, I'm going to mess up the percentage, but I think it's like 83% of the toxins in your body are removed while you're sleeping, and your body can only really handle about 20% while you're awake. So that's a big deal. We're exposed to toxins every day. If you guys missed our toxin workshop, that's in our portal. So go back and watch that. It was pretty awesome. And, we can't avoid it. The car driving down the street exposes me to toxins. My watch probably exposes me to toxins. And so getting those out of our body is so important for our functions. Okay, so the positive sides of sleep. Sleep is vital for brain function. It's vital for emotional mood and health. If you're dealing with depression and anxiety, let's get your sleep on par. It is one of the most crucial pieces for hormone health and balance. It's required for, healing your body, healing your muscles, eliminating cellular waste, replacing worn out cells with healthier ones. Sleep is one of the best things that you can do for cancer prevention. Cancer is when a cell in your body gets a weird message, forgets how to stop replicating, and stops replicating. And there's this great thing called apoptosis, which is cell death. And that's when your body goes, oh, that cell is messed up, and it removes it from the system. That happens when you're sleeping. That is a cancer prevention tool. It improves immune system. It restores your mind and body. It prepares you to be productive. It sets you up to have a good cognitive performance. The other piece that I didn't put on this, but is also really important, is it is crucial for weight loss. We've had so many clients who've come to us for weight loss, and they're doing, quote, all the right things. They're eating the right thing. They're exercising, but they're super stressed and they're not sleeping. And I promise you, you will not lose a pound until you get yourself unstressed and you start to sleep. We had a client, oh man, probably 6 months ago, who was in that category doing all the quote unquote right things, but was super stressed. And so her coach told her I want you to stop exercising for 2 weeks. I want you to, instead of exercising, I want you to take a 20 to 30 minute nap 3 days a week. and I want you to meditate, right? So everything against what we're talking about. To lose weight, you need to exercise. Nope, this girl lost 15 pounds in a month by napping and meditating. Why is that? What is the metabolic understanding behind that? Your body is designed to keep you alive. That is its main function. It's not necessarily designed for optimal functioning. We have to help it to function optimally. And so if you are super stressed and you're not sleeping, your body interprets that as hypervigilance because there's something wrong. A saber-toothed tiger is going to attack you in your sleep that you need to make sure that you're staying up for. And if your body is in that fight or flight mode, it is holding on to every possible calorie it can get its hands on because it thinks that at any moment you're going to need to sprint and run away from something dangerous. And so being able to get your body into that calm, rest and digest, sleep state is what your body has to have to lose fat. So if that's one of the things that you're struggling with, talk to your coach, think about some things, but taking a nap and doing some meditation is one of the most powerful things you can do. Okay. Diving in a little bit more to what lack of sleep does. So this is getting 6 or fewer hours of sleep per night for just 4 nights in a row. Premature aging, anxiety and depression, addiction and other mental health. 48% of people who get checked into the emergency room qualify for this. They had 6 or fewer nights of sleep in the past 4 nights. And why do they get checked into the emergency room? All of these things: stroke, heart attack, blood sugar imbalances, injuries, poor cognitive function, falls, etc. And then there's your unexplained weight gain and obesity. That's a huge one. So sleep matters. The last page of this little document says sleep is productive. Prioritize it, protect it, perfect it. If that little piece, all this stuff didn't convince you of that, sleep is maybe the most productive 8 to 9 hours in your whole day. It is what your body desperately needs in order to function. So any questions on that before we move on? Cool. Okay, so now we're going to get to the workshop part. We're going to create an evening routine. So I realize this looks like a checklist. It was just the prettiest way to make it. This is not a checklist and it's not in any order. But what I want you guys to do is I want you to get out a piece of paper. I'm going to kind of walk you through each of these things and why they might be important. And then what we're going to do is I want you to build your own evening routine. I'll walk you through that in a minute. You can have all of these things. You can have some of these things. There are things in here, or there are other things you can do that are not on here. But I'm going to talk about a couple of these things and why they're important. So stop eating 3 hours before bed. Again, that goes back to that microbiome piece, making sure that your microbiome knows that it's time to sleep and it's not giving your body messages to stay awake. Dim the lights and turn off electronics. So in my living room, in my bedroom, and in my bathroom, I have these magical things: pink Himalayan salt light night lights, and then I have a couple of these. Why? Because when it's dark outside, what we do in our beautiful modern society is what? Turn on all the lights. And so if you've ever been camping is one of my favorite examples of this. When I go camping and I don't have any of that external light, maybe I have a fire and that's about it, I am exhausted at 9 p.m. Like, I'm ready for bed at 9. I'll probably stay up till 10 around the campfire and I am out. When I'm at home, I can stay up till 11 or 12 easily because I'm tricking my brain and telling my brain that it's daylight because I have lights on. And so one of the things that has helped me, Marina, I sleep so good when camping and just sleeping on the ground, 100%. Marina, that's such a good point. I think we do all of these things. Like, we have to have the perfect mattress and the perfect sheets and like the perfect air conditioning. Actually, you just need it darker. You need to tell your brain that it's nighttime. And so one of the things that has helped me massively is when it gets dark at night outside, I don't turn my lights on. I turn on the pink Himalayan salt lamps, which are plenty of light to see. I can get around. I can even read by them. I can read, I can play games, I can do whatever I want, but it tells my brain, oh, it's nighttime. It's time to start winding down. And so I'll turn those on. In the summer, I turn them on around 9:30. In the winter, I turn them on around 7. And in the winter, I sleep more than in the summer. That's part of that rhythmic thing. But dimming the lights, turning it off, and then this part, even if you don't dim the lights, even if you keep all your overhead lights on, Get that blue light out of your eyes. Finish, send that last text message, send that last email, put your phone in a different room, turn off the TV, read a book, do something that is not electronic. Create a calming atmosphere, put on calming music, sit outside. So sit outside, that's one of my favorite things. Back to camping, I can trick my brain into thinking it's camping by just sitting out on my back porch with my fire pit, and the same thing happens. Create an atmosphere, put on calming music, make yourself some tea. I have that one down here, or a magnesium drink. Make something that helps you feel cozy and starts to kind of trigger your brain into going, oh, it's time to chill out. Put on some comfy, snuggly clothes, get under blankets. Stretching or doing some light exercise, that's a really good one. You don't want to do heavy kind of HIIT cardio or weightlifting within about 3 to 4 hours of bed, because that will bring your cortisol back up and mess up the system. But some light stretching, some exercise, some Pilates, that's a great thing to do to kind of calm your body, especially if you match it with breathing. Do something gentle that calms your mind. Read, journal, talk with your spouse or your partner, have an actual conversation instead of binging that Netflix TV show. One of the things that helps me a lot, so I'm an entrepreneur and I have a lot of ideas and they're all brilliant. And they usually tend to come to me. They're not really all brilliant. That was a total joke if you guys didn't catch my sarcasm. Those ideas tend to come to me when I get in bed. Like I get in bed and I've been chill. I've done my whole nighttime routine. I'm feeling great. And then all of a sudden it's like bing, 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 bing. And I have 14 different ideas and a whole talk just downloads itself. And so what I used to do is I used to be like, well, I guess that's just when I think about things. And so I would get up and stay up until 2 a.m. writing that bad idea. What I have discovered is if I have a piece of paper by my bed, I can use my pink Himalayan salt lamp. So I'm not using my phone because I don't want that blue light. And I just write them down, because what really makes my brain spin, I think, is the fear of forgetting them. Like my whole to-do list, I have to do this tomorrow. I have to do this tomorrow. Oh, that's a really good idea. Oh, that's a great idea for that talk. I need to do that. If I write it down with enough information that I can remember it in the morning and then take a deep breath, it takes me 7 minutes and it's out of my brain and I'm asleep. Or I can stay there and I can stare at my ceiling and just perseverate on all of them. And it's 4 hours later and I'm not asleep. So that's a great hack. And then get ready for sleep. I didn't put things on this list like brush your teeth, wash your face, because I feel like we're generally all adults and those are pretty obvious. But get ready for sleep, brush your teeth, wash your face. I like to put lotion on my feet. That's a really weird thing. It just feels luxurious to me. Use an essential oil, something like that. Meditate. I really like to get in bed and I'll put on like a meditation song and I'll do a minute meditation. And then my 2 magical sleep hacks are this guy. So my sleep mask blocks out light. So this is a really important thing that I have found. Everyone talks about having a dark place to sleep and having blackout curtains. What I have found for myself is when I have blackout curtains, I don't wake up in the morning. Like my alarm goes off and it is still pitch black in my room and I struggle so hard. So I actually sleep with my curtains open. I know that's controversial, but it works for me. So that in the morning, when the sun is up, I get that light in my eyes immediately. And this thing is super thick. It has a nose flap and it blocks out 100% of the light. So this is how I make my body know that it's night and it's dark. Even the light from your phone charger, or we have electric toothbrushes, can affect your sleep. So an eye cover. And then this stuff, mouth tape. This is maybe like the most extreme version of sleep, but I love it. So I want to share it with you. There's a ton of research behind mouth tape. I'm a little bit of a slow adopter. I want to read all the research. Mouth tape and taping your mouth started coming out about 10 years ago. Like this is not new. But for those of you who are going, oh, taping my mouth sounds horrible. It does. And it's actually really not. So this is my mouth tape. It's hypoallergenic. I'm super sensitive to adhesives and this doesn't cause any problems. But what it does is just this little X and you put it over your lips, which I'll do here in just a second. And it forces you to breathe through your nose. And that does a couple of things. One, it gets more oxygen to your brain while you sleep, which makes you sleep deeper. And it prevents snoring. And it's actually a precursor treatment to sleep apnea before you end up on a CPAP. So you just do this. And then if you panic in the middle of the night, you can just pull your mouth open. It's not like duct tape. You're not restricted, but that's one of my favorite things. I'd finally decided to try it one night. It was a night that I was only going to get about 7 hours of sleep. I'm like a 9.5 hour sleeper. I taped my mouth shut. I woke up in the morning and my husband goes, whatever you did last night worked, because I have never seen you this chipper in the morning. I was like, okay, cool. So that's your nighttime routine. Before we get into making your nighttime routine, we're going to talk about a morning routine, because your nighttime routine really starts in the morning. And we're actually going to kind of back time when we get into the workshop part. We're going to back time from the morning. So your sleep starts the moment you open your eyes in the morning. Waking up at the same time every day is really helpful. For me, I have found that I am an 8.5 hour sleeper. If I get 8.5 hours, I am great. Doesn't really matter what time I go to bed, as long as I get 8.5 hours of sleep. So one of the things that works for me is I try to go to bed around the same time. And then instead of setting an alarm, I set a timer. So I set a timer for about 8 hours and 45 minutes. I usually wake up before that, which is really wonderful. And it gives me that kind of fluctuation to wake up on my own. Super helpful. Drink a glass of water with electrolytes, flush all those toxins out of your body and get some energy back into your body. Get sunshine immediately. Make your bed. If you guys haven't heard the How to Win Your Day talk by the Navy SEAL, who I'm forgetting, it's a great YouTube video. Move your body for 5 minutes. This is so easy. So in my morning sunshine time, I go outside and I stretch. It looks different every day. Sometimes I do abs and push-ups. Sometimes I just stretch. Sometimes I just take laps around my yard, but move, eat a nutritious breakfast, get ready for the day, shower, makeup, whatever. 2-minute meditation, set your intentions for the day. That's mine. I don't like to meditate for a long time. I get itchy, but if I set a timer for 2 minutes and I just take some deep breaths and I set my intention for the day, it really helps. So any questions about that before we get into kind of our workshop part? Okay, so the next kind of half hour of this call, we're going to build your ideal morning or your ideal evening routine. Then we're going to build your non-negotiable evening routine. So what I mean by that is the things that you are going to do no matter what, even on the day that it didn't quite go to plan. And then I'm going to take you guys through a meditation. I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of ease your way into that. And I'm going to share a couple of my favorite sleep resources to help you. So let me put this in the chat. We're going to go ahead and start by creating that atmosphere. This is a playlist that I love. I'm going to turn it on, but I have found that it doesn't do a great job coming through Zoom. So if you have your phone with you, or if you're not listening to this on your phone, if you're on your computer, go ahead and put this playlist on. And I'll go ahead and turn it on as well. So we're just creating an atmosphere. We're just creating something that feels good and sounds good. Go ahead and get a piece of paper out, and then I'm going to walk you through creating your ideal routine. So first of all, go ahead and just take a big deep breath. That's a lot of information. Now we're going to put it into action. The way we're going to do that is we're actually going to reverse engineer it. So what I want you to do is I want you to write on the top of your paper the time that you want to wake up. And that can be the time that you want to wake up, or it can be the time that you have to wake up for work. About you. So write that at the top of your paper. Time that you want to wake up. And then I want you to count backwards from that. What time do you need to be? Oh, we can't hear you. That's weird. Can you hear me now, Marina? It's hard to hear your voice. Oh, because of the music. Okay, great. I'll just put the music over here. Highly recommend the music, but you need to hear me more than that. And is that better?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
Perfect. Okay. So put on the top of your paper the time that you want to wake up. And then I want you to reverse engineer what time do you actually need to be asleep. If you know how many hours of sleep your body prefers, reverse engineer it from that. So say you want to wake up at 8 a.m., count backwards. I'm 8.5 hours. So that would be 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wait. Midnight. 11:30. So my drop dead would be 11:30. I would prefer to be in bed at 11. If you need to be up at 6, reverse engineer that and go ahead and write that time down. So that's the time that you want to be asleep. I think a lot of people, myself included, can get that confused with the time that we're in bed. Unless you are an amazing sleeper, the time that you are in bed is not the time that you are asleep. So now think about, on an ideal night, everything has gone well, you don't have racing thoughts. How long does it usually take you to fall asleep? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 15 minutes? Is it 30 minutes? And I want you to write that time down. Okay, and then from that time, I want you to go 3 or 4 hours earlier than that. I want you to leave a big gap between the time that you need to be in bed and that new time, that 3 or 4 hours before. On that 3 or 4 hours before, I want you to write down no more food or stop eating, whatever makes more sense for you. And now in that space between when you're going to stop eating and when you need to actually be in bed, we're going to fill in some of these things. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create our ideal evening routine. And what I mean by ideal evening routine is this is the day that everything has gone right. You didn't have to stay late at work. You had groceries in your fridge. Making dinner was easy. You know, the kids are already in bed. Everything has gone right. What are you going to do? And I want you to write down the things that make sense to you. You can pull from this list. You can pull things that you do on your own. If you want to unmute because you have a brilliant idea, put that down. But write down the things that you want to do. Bye, Nina. Yeah, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. It's good to meet you. So write down those things. What time are you going to turn your phone off? And I want you to get specific. If you're going to turn your phone off, where is it going to go? If you're not going to turn it off, how are you going to stay off it? What book are you going to read? Do you have a tea that you like? If you don't have a tea, I have one for you. What time are you going to get into your comfy clothes? What does a calming atmosphere look like for you? I'm going to give you about a minute to get as detailed as possible. As detailed down to the things like I'm going to put lotion on my feet after I brush my teeth and get in bed. This is your ideal. What time are you going to turn your overhead lights off? So Robin, that's a good point. I wouldn't be able to eat dinner with my husband if I stopped 4 hours before my sleep time. Totally. So, you know, this is an ideal, right? This is if everything went perfectly. So what I would ask you is I would say, okay, what time would you need to eat? And then there are other things that you can do. If that one isn't going to work for you, then you eat with your husband because that's a really important time of connection. What are some of the other things that you could do to help your body know that it's nighttime? Could you eat by candlelight? That sounds kind of cool. Like dinner by candlelight, dinner in a romantic way. Could you have a larger lunch and a smaller dinner? So even though you're eating later at night, because that happens to me sometimes too. Like sometimes I don't get back from a mountain bike ride in the summer until 9 o'clock at night. That's just how it goes. Which is why we're talking about our ideal. So could you have a bigger lunch and a smaller dinner? So even though you're eating later, you're not eating as much. Are those things helpful? Okay, so now you have your ideal. Now I want you to go back through and I want you to put a star by things that are non-negotiable. So the stars are going to be the things that we do no matter what, even on the days where things didn't go. You're welcome, Robin. Absolutely. Even on the days that things didn't go to plan. So these are the days where you worked late, you got stuck at the office, you didn't have food in your fridge. So you had to, like you ate a little bit later than you wanted to, maybe you ate a little bit more than you wanted to. And maybe instead of having this wonderful kind of hour-long, 2-hour-long peaceful wind down, maybe you only have 10 minutes, right? Instead of running to our toothbrush and then crashing into our bed, what are those non-negotiables? And I just want you to put a star by them. For me, my non-negotiables are dim the lights. My phone goes in my office. It does not live in my bedroom. I'm going to read or journal and breathe for a couple minutes. I take a magnesium drink every night because it helps me, and then I'm going to go to bed, right? So how can you make this luxurious nighttime routine kind of a shorter, non-negotiable nighttime routine? And then go ahead and unmute. I would love to hear for you, what are the most important pieces of this? So go ahead and just unmute and shout out, or you can put in the chat if you are in a Zen place and don't want to use your voice. What are the 1 to 3 things that are your non-negotiables? I will do this. I commit to myself to doing this every night. Anybody? Going to bed between 10 and 10:30. Yep, that's a good one. No matter what. What magnesium drink do you use? The last time I tried magnesium glycinate, it made me sleep strange. Also non-negotiable would be turning phone off an hour before bed. Yeah, Emery, that's a good one. Turning non-negotiable off an hour before bed. So this is the magnesium drink that I use. It's called Kid Sense. I call it magic sleep powder. It's designed for kids. So you're totally right. Sometimes if you take too much magnesium, it can make you sleep strange. This one is magical because it's designed for kids. So it's a super low dose. And it also has, I need some magic sleep powder. So Emery, we'll send this out to you. And if you click this link right here, it'll take you straight to that product. It has a little bit of magnesium, but then it also has L-theanine and L-theanate in it, which both cross the blood-brain barrier. This is not going to make you tired. So this is not a sleep powder where you take it and then, 20 minutes later, you're conked out, passed out. But I notice a massive difference in my ability to stay asleep and how energized I wake up in the morning when I do this. I probably do this 4 nights a week, especially on days that I need to wake up maybe a little bit earlier. And so I know I need to sleep deeper. But that one is a huge project. Magic sleep powder. That's not actually what it's called. It's what I call it. Okay, a couple more non-negotiables. No scrolling or TV immediately before bed. Yes. I always like a warm shower, clean clothes, magnesium on my feet. Yes. So we have this magnesium lotion, and smelling lavender before lying down. Those are great non-negotiables. Cool. Reading, journaling, or talking with a friend is a non-negotiable. Yeah, Lisa Marie, that's a really good one. Yes, I have sleep maintenance issues. I wake up a ton in the middle of the night. Hope the powder helps. So Emery, one of the things that's going to be most important for you, waking up in the middle of the night tends to be one of 2 things. It's either that you have to pee, which we just need to stop drinking water earlier, or it's that your cortisol curve is off. If you're waking up between 2 and 3 in the morning, that's your cortisol spiking when it's not supposed to. And so for you, one of your non-negotiables might be this. We need to start working on managing stress and anxiety throughout the day. So instead of having your cortisol curve look like this and spiking in the middle of the night, it starts to do this natural thing. Marina, cold shower before bed for me is an anxiety reducer. Yes. Anna says, oh yeah, that can really help. Emery, it's anxiety for sure. I've been having severe anxiety for the last 2 months. Thank you. Yeah. So Emery, let's talk to your coach about that, because there's a lot of things that we can do on a lifestyle wise, on a gut health wise, and on your sleep routine to help reduce that. Because if it's anxiety related and you're spiking that cortisol in the middle of the night, that's what's going on. Okay, cool. So now I want you to write on your piece of paper 1 to 3 things that are going to be non-negotiables for your morning, because your sleep isn't just affected by what you do in the evening, it's affected by what you do the moment you open your eyeballs. So I want you to write down here, what are you going to do in the morning? My two favorites, my two non-negotiables are these two. I drink a glass of water with electrolytes and I get sunshine immediately. I also make my bed. That's a non-negotiable. My morning routine non-negotiable is a protein packed breakfast, helps a ton. Yeah, Marina, that is huge. I should actually add that to my list. Instead of just a nourishing breakfast, a protein packed breakfast. I have to make my bed. If I don't, I get so irritable. Me too. I can't function. Cool. Okay. So you guys can give me a thumbs up or just a yes or no. Do you guys have an evening routine that feels a little bit different or maybe a little bit more robust or shifted by 2 degrees than you did when you came into this talk? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, good. Okay, now here's the trick, right? We've got this great electrolyte water is a game changer for headaches too. Yes, Anna, it is. I'm enjoying a season of bone broth and an empty stomach first thing. Ooh, that's a great one. Okay, so now we're going to practice putting this into action a little bit. Yes, must be off my phone by bedtime, 100%. Because this list does us no good if we don't practice it. So I want to give you guys a challenge, and then I want to set you up to just experience a little bit what winding down in this evening feels like, and then we're going to jump off the call. So the challenge is to take this piece of paper that you guys have just written out and tape it somewhere where you'll see it. Tape it to your fridge, tape it to your mirror. And then the next thing that I would do is I would set an alarm on your phone for whatever that starting time is for you. If that's the time that you're going to stop eating, or if that's the time that you're going to unplug from your phone, it is really hard to change our habits, right? If our normal habit is scrolling on our phone until 2 a.m. and we don't put some kind of stop or blockade, our best efforts at willpower are not going to be enough. And so we have to do something that is different. So I want to encourage you to tape this somewhere and to put an alarm on your phone for when you're going to start. I'm going to take you through a couple of resources, and then I'm going to take you through a meditation that really sets me up well for sleep. And then I'm going to send you off into your evening to go practice this routine. So this resource document we're going to send out to you, every single one of these pictures is a link to give you guys resources so you can go get whatever you need. But these are my favorites and kind of our team's favorites. So we've got it broken down into wind down, nighty night, and then morning. And I actually just thought of 2 more things I need to put on the morning one. So my evening, go-tos are Agni tea. This is a really amazing tea that comes in a biodegradable plant-based tea bag. It's a conversation for a whole nother day, but plastic tea bags are really dangerous. And this one not only helps you sleep, it has some ashwagandha and some kind of anti-anxiety things, but it also helps you have a good morning. So this is a great tea for evening or morning. Love it. I usually make this in the evening. My magic sleep powder, I usually take that kind of right before I brush my teeth. Again, you're not going to feel the effects like you would with a sleep medication, right? You take a sleep med or Benadryl and you like pass out immediately. Yeah, Sharon, you have it. Yes, I think we put those in your boxes. Yes. The other thing that I have noticed with magic sleep powder is if I break my rule and I use magic sleep powder and then get on my phone, I have weird sleep. So warning with that one, take it when you are fully ready for bed. Take it, brush your teeth. But it really is magic if you do it right. Good night magnesium lotion. So I told you I love putting lotion on my feet. Your skin absorbs things faster and quicker than your stomach. So I like to put this magnesium lotion on my feet and on my belly. Just kind of calms me down, feels really good. My evening face routine is one of my favorite things, like washing my face and putting lotion on. Simple Body products. If you guys caught our toxin workshop, this is an incredible local company made by a woman who is just infuriated by how many endocrine disruptors were in products and how expensive they were. So she created an entire business of affordable skin cream. And these are my 2 favorites. So they have a pillow spray and then a nightly face serum. So you can go check that out. If you use Hally 10, you get 10% off. This playlist right here is the playlist that I'm playing right now. You can play whatever playlist you want. You can play worship, you can play something with sound, but this piano is one of my favorites. These are the salt lamps that I have in my living room, bedroom, and master bathroom, so that I have plenty of light to see and to read by, but I'm starting to kind of turn those lights out. These are my blue light blockers. So if I have to, for some reason, get on my phone, like I forgot to send that last text, these guys go on immediately so that I'm getting zero blue light. They're really hot. They look super good. You should probably wear them out sometime. But these are by my bedside table. And so, if I have to turn on an overhead light or I have to look at my phone, these are going on. My sleep mask, I love these ones. They're super cheap. I think they're like $12 on Amazon. They're not expensive. They're great. And then my mouth tape goes on right before I kind of turn the lights off and go to bed. And then in the morning, this is an alarm clock that I found. It's also super cheap. It's like $27, but it's an alarm clock that starts with light and then it goes to sound. And so this is great to help you kind of wake up in the morning naturally. It gets really bright. It gets up to full sunlight. So I have that right by my bed. I set it for 30 minutes before I want to get up, and it just kind of slowly turns on the light. And then when it's really time to get out of bed, when it's like drop dead, I actually have to get up, then I can set it for ocean waves or birds or like that super annoying alarm clock beep. This is Rasa. If you guys haven't heard us talk about Rasa, I'm obsessed. It's an adaptogenic coffee alternative, and it's the best that I've found. What I love about coffee is that it's kind of thick. I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but it's not tea. Like tea is kind of watery. Coffee's kind of like thick and rich. And Rasa is thick and rich. So I have actually gotten to the point that I don't drink coffee at all anymore, just part of my journey. But Rasa is a fantastic option that helps give you natural energy without giving you that caffeine bump. So I drink this in the morning. And then if I need a little bit of energy in the middle of the day, instead of drinking coffee, I drink Rasa. And then the other resource that I'm going to put on here is the electrolyte blend that I really love that I put in water. I'll put 10 drops of that with some lemon in the morning. And that's my morning routine. So to wind us down, I'm going to take you through a short little 4-minute meditation. Sharon, is that a question? What is that? Oh yeah. Yep. Those are them. Yep. Totally. 100%. I'm going to take you through a little 4-minute meditation and then send you off into the evening. You can notice my office is dark on purpose, to go into your new evening routine. But before I do that, do you guys have any questions? Anna says, oh, Agni tea. We also have a sample. Oh, also in your box, we have I think it's Earthly Well tea. We have a sample of one of their teas for the fall quarterly wellness box. Okay, so sorry, let me reread this. Anna says, Agni tea, we have a sample of one of their teas for the fall quarterly wellness box. So the one that'll ship this fall, you're getting that. So members who are signed up for those boxes will get to try Agni. And this box, we had Earthly Well tea, which is also a really good tea. Okay. I don't drink caffeine either. All of the teas, including Rasa, are caffeine free. Yes, Emery, all of the teas are fully caffeine free. So Rasa is totally caffeine free. They do have one that's like dirty Rasa that has caffeine in it, but all the others are not has no caffeine. And then this is like an adaptogenic designed for sleep. So yeah, obviously no caffeine. Absolutely. Totally. Okay. So to send you off into the evening, I want you guys to go ahead and get comfortable. You can be sitting, you can be laying down, whatever you want. And we're going to do a little 4-minute body scan meditation to help set you up for an amazing night's sleep. So when you're ready, if you're comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to take 3 deep breaths in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Breathe all your air out, pull your stomach in. 2 more, breathe in and out. One more, breathe in and out. I want you to go ahead and notice your body. Notice where your body is pressing into the chair or the bed or the floor. Notice that support underneath you. Go ahead and take one more deep breath and sink a little bit deeper into that support. Then go ahead and bring your attention to the top of your head. Notice whatever's there. You might feel nothing. You might feel tingling. You might feel pressure. Just go ahead and breathe into that sensation and notice whatever is there. Bring your attention down to your cheeks and your neck. Notice if you're holding any tension there. If you are, let it go. Maybe move your neck around to help it relax. Maybe blubber your lips. You notice your mind wandering off into thoughts. Picture those thoughts just floating by down a river and bring yourself back to your breath. Bring your attention now to your shoulders, your chest, your upper back. Notice whatever's there. Again, it might be tingling or tension. If it feels good to wiggle a little bit, go ahead and do that. And then breathe some space into your shoulders and your chest and your back. Then bring your attention to your stomach, to your low back, to your hips. Notice what it feels like to be in your body. Notice again where your body is touching the bed or the floor, the chair. Notice the support up underneath you. If you have any tension there, take a big deep breath. Just breathe into that space. Now notice your upper leg, front of your leg, back of your leg, the top of your knee, the backs of your knees. Just notice what's there. Bring your attention to your lower leg and your ankle. If it feels good, you can circle your feet one way and the other way. Take a deep breath. And then bring your attention down to your feet and your toes. Notice what the arch of your feet feels like. Notice the sensation you have in your toes. Again, it might be tingling, maybe itching, maybe nothing. And again, take a big deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Now I want you to imagine a big pot of honey. It's warm, kind of sticky. And it's being poured from your head, running down your whole body, down your face, down your neck, down your arms, down your legs. And as that warm honey just flows over you, you notice that every ounce of tension is being carried away with it. And finally, return to your breath. Breathe out for a count of 4. And in for a count of 3. Out for 4. In for 3. One more time, out for 4. And with that, you can go ahead and bring your attention back to the room, wiggle your fingers and toes, or if you're in a wonderful place and you feel good, feel free to drift off into sleep or into the rest of your night. Anna will send this recording out and our PDF out in the morning. Don't worry about getting anything or missing a resource. Tonight is for you to go practice your new evening routine, to take some care of yourself. I'm so grateful that you guys are all in our community. Thank you all for joining us tonight. It means so much to me to see you all. I hope you have a glorious night, and I will see you soon. You're welcome, Emery. Good night. You're welcome, Sharon. Mwah. Thank you, guys.